What's up, guys? I wanted to make a video for you discussing the difference between a fixed mindset and a growth mindset as it pertains to nutrition, okay? Now, with nutrition, it doesn't matter whether you're doing a challenge, whether you're on our basic program, whatever you are doing, I want you to think about the way that you approach it, okay? And decide which one you tend to be, because you're going to be both. You're going to be both a fixed mindset and a growth mindset in different areas, but ultimately is if we can recognize that pattern and sit down and discuss ways to change it, it's going to make everything better, right? So what I want to talk to you about today first is let's define the two mindsets, okay? A fixed mindset is, according to Carol Dweck, who invented this kind of principle, right? A fixed mindset, by her definition, is pretty much people believe things like they're intelligent and talents are simply fixed traits, that they spend their time documenting that stuff, and they believe that talent alone creates success without the effort, right? The growth mindset believes that people's most basic abilities can be developed through dedication and hard work, that your intelligence and your talent are just a starting point. The view creates a love of learning and a resilience that is essential for great accomplishment. So what I want you to think about, now that we've defined these two things, is a fixed mindset. And I'm going to use an example from a challenge, okay? So from a challenge point of view, let's say that you lost a half an inch this week and a half a pound this week, right? And so you sit down to fill out your progress report, which was 5 days after you started your new macros that your coach gave you, right? Or your adjustments that your coach gave you. And there's two different ways you can look at it. You can sit down and say, well, you know, I was stressed at work. I only got to work out this many times. I didn't like the way that my coach changed my macros. I didn't think it was good. I like my old ones better, blah, blah, blah. That's a fixed mindset, okay? Pretty much what you're doing is, instead of finding ways to improve your performance, you're actually finding ways to excuse your performance, right? And that's what we don't want. So ultimately, for me, for instance, when I go through a week of dieting, or if I'm really trying to stay very, very disciplined on my nutrition program, like I am currently, at the end of the week, when I actually step on the scale and I take my pictures, I sit down and I go, okay, what differences do I see, if any? What were the differences on the scale, if any? What were the differences in the inches, if any? And okay, if they weren't the desired effect, well, what ways can I make sure that I'm giving a better effort the following week? So, okay, well, what was my workout regimen like this week? Did I really push myself every set? Did I add the amount of cardio that I was going to add from last week? Do I need to add more? Do I need to add less? What kind of training do I need to incorporate to improve my results? And then, did I hit my macros consistently? Was my food timing perfect? Was my meals prepped properly? And ultimately, oh, well, I didn't cheat on my diet, but did I plan on my meals, and were they all prepped and perfectly portioned and then measured to exact T, so I knew that if I didn't get the desired results, I knew exactly how to tune it? Or what can I do this week to improve my performance, right? If I only worked out 3 times last week because of all this crazy stuff, well, is there a way I can schedule 4 for next week? Or is there a way I can schedule 5 for next week? Or is there a way that I can think about things at work so that I'm not so stressed out, so that I'm looking at things from a bigger picture, and stepping back for a little bit and saying, you know what, I'm not going to let this little thing bother me. It's not that big of a deal in the overall scheme of life. I'm going to get through it, and I'm going to push through it, and this is how the solution is. If this problem comes up, if this problem comes up, this is how I'm going to approach it, this is how I'm going to tackle it, and you have a game plan and you're ready to go. And that's a growth mindset. And what I challenge you guys to do is, as this challenge wanes on, like right now we're on week 10, so if you're doing the challenge, it's starting to become a grind, right? And ultimately that mental excitement and that mental focus starts to dwindle. If you're not doing the challenge and you're still following your macros, let me ask you a question. If you're not hitting your macros, when's the last time you weighed out all your food properly and prepped your meals? If so, when's the last time you got your macros adjusted? When's the last time you sent your coach or your trainer at the gym your information and said, hey, this is what I've been doing, this is where I'm at, this is where I would like to be, what tips and pointers can you give me? Have you sent that email, right? So for me, if I'm ever struggling with something, I go ask people. I go ask for knowledge from other people who I respect in the industry and who I want tips and tricks from. Is I will go out and do that kind of thing because I know that their opinion is important and that they will typically give me pointers and ways to get back on it. But most of the time, if I sit down and look in the mirror and say, okay, what can I improve on every single week? My capacity to be great increases every single week at whatever task I'm trying to do, right? So think about it this way. When you first started going to boot camp, the term macros, the weighing out your food, making a menu and all that stuff, a lot of you that was overwhelming for, right? Like when you first started, it was like, okay, this is different than anything I've done. This is not my comfort zone. And your 100% effort and capacity are nowhere near where they are now. Think about it now. You know so well how to weigh things, how to measure, how to read nutrition labels, how to go through things, how to prep, how to do all that stuff, that your capacity to do it is exponentially higher than when you first started, right? And that's what I want you to think about is, okay, every single week, if I'm working harder and harder and harder, in 3 more weeks, my capacity to give 100% is going to be completely different than it is right now. Okay, well maybe my training isn't going that way. Maybe it's not necessarily that I need to add workouts. Maybe it's that I need to increase the intensity of my workouts. Maybe I need to really make sure that the trainers know that I want to be pushed, that I want to be brought to that next level, that I want to really, really succeed, and I need them to give me their best effort every time I'm there. When's the last time you sent that email? When's the last time you sent that Facebook message that says, hey, next time I'm in the gym, come up to me. I'm going to come up to you and I'm going to say, hey, today I want you to kick my butt. I want you to make sure that I'm going as hard as I can and that I'm doing things the best possible way that I can so that I can get the optimal results. When's the last time you said that, right? Because ultimately, you are going to get the effort that you put in is what you're going to get out of it. And I'm going to challenge you guys for the rest of this week and for the rest of next week to really challenge yourself to increase your effort and increase your intensity and overall increase your intelligence when it comes to our nutritional program, when it comes to our training program. And ultimately, if you push the envelope every single week and you pick 2 or 3 things to work on every single week and then you build on those every single week, your capacity for greatness is going to be so much higher, not only in 2 or 3 more weeks, but think about a month or 2 months down the road, how much more intelligent, how much more equipped, how much more prepared you're going to be for anything that life throws at you when it comes to getting to where you want to get physically. Hope you guys like this video. Thank you for watching. Have a great rest of your weekend. Peace.